Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dhanvat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hari Bol, thank you to Pandit Shivas Prabhu, Pawan Prabhu, and Aarti Mataji for leading the chanting this morning. Okay, let's continue with our prayers and then we'll read. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay, so this week also we will continue with our prayers to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but this week is also the wonderful auspicious occasion of Sri Ram Navami. So, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we know is non-different from Sri Krishna, from Sri Ramachandra. So this wonderful bhajan we'll sing this week, which describes the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his different forms. Okay, so this also is sing in the same melody, or there are multiple melodies, but we'll sing in the Vrindavan Ramyasthan melody today. Okay. Jaya Jaya Jagannath Sachiranandana Tribhuvana Kurijara Charana Vandana Jaya Jaya Jagannath Sachiranandana Tribhuvana Kurijara Charana Vandana Nilachale Shankha Chakra Gata Padmadhara Nadiyana Gare Danda Kamandalukara Keho Bole Purabete Ravana Badhila Golokera Vaibhava Leela Prakasha Korila Keho Bole Purabete Ravana Badhila Golokera Vaibhava Leela Prakasha Korila Shri Radhara Bhava Eve Gaura Avatara Hare Krishna Nama Gaura Korila Prachara Vasudeva Ghosha Bole Kori Jod Hatha Jai Gaura Se Krishna Se Jagannatha Vasudeva Ghosha Bole Kori Jod Hatha Jai Gaura Se Krishna Se Jagannatha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Vasudev Ghosh ki jai, Jai Jai Jagannath Sachidanandan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, anybody would like to read the translation? No, then I'll continue. Okay, I can read. Translation. All glories to the dear son of Sri Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi. All the three worlds offer prayers unto his lotus feet. In Nilachal, he holds the conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower, while in the town of Nadia, he holds the sannyasi staff and water pot. It is said that in olden times, as Lord Ramachandra, he killed the demon Ravana. Then later, as Lord Krishna, he revealed the splendorously opulent pastimes of Goloka. It is he who has come. He has come. Oh, from Raja, he has come to Nadia. Accepting the mood and luster of Sri Radha, he has come from Raja to Nadia. He has come. Now Lord Govinda, the cowherd boy, has come as Lord Gauranga. He has come distributing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Vasudev Ghosh says with folded hands, he who is Gaura is he who is Krishna, is he who is Jagannath, is he who is Lord Ramachandra. Hari Bol. Yes, so this wonderful prayer by Srila Vasudev Ghosh describes Lord Gaurachandra is not different from Lord Ramachandra, and he is not different from Lord Sri Krishna Chandra, and who is not different from Sri Vrindavan Chandra. Okay, yes, so this is like the Shadabhuja form of the Lord, where he displays the two-handed form as Lord Ramachandra with bow and arrow, another two-handed form, three-bent form as Krishna holding the flute, and another two arms as Lord Gauranga holding the danda and the kamandal. So these are the six Shadabhuja. It's called the Shadabhuja form, the six-armed form of the Lord, which Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu displays to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in Jagannath Puri. And yeah, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who is an impersonalist before that, then becomes the ardent devotee of the Lord. Okay, so wonderful. Let's continue with our reading of teachings of Lord Kapila. And we are currently reading chapter 6. And this is exactly the place where we stopped last week, when on Friday, when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, like we just described, he was an impersonalist, Mayavadi philosopher, very great scholar, and he surrendered unto the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed the six-armed form, and he composed this wonderful prayer that Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Siksharthamika Purusha Purana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shariradhari Kripam Budhiryastamaham Prapadye. Let me take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach us real knowledge, his devotional service and detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. He has descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender unto his lotus feet. So this wonderful prayer and this beautiful book of Lord Kapila's teaching. It was a very nice coincidence. Last Friday and then Saturday, when we celebrated Meenu Mataji's appearance day, was also our 2-year anniversary of our morning Japa and reading call. So it was nice that this past year also, I remember we were fortunate to be in the Dham of Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra in New Vrindavan on our 1-year anniversary, and the 2nd-year anniversary of our morning sadhana. Also we were in New Vrindavan, and in the class, coincidentally, when we had His Holiness Bhakti Marg Swami Maharaj, who is one of the very senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada, he was giving the class on Srimad Bhagavatam, and coincidentally the verse that he picked was, or the verse that was being spoken or discussed, was from teachings of Lord Kapila. So he was talking about teachings of Lord Kapila to Devahuti. So it's a very nice reciprocation that yes, Krishna is there, and it was nice that we were able to celebrate our 2-year anniversary, and we were able to hear glories of the Lord from this wonderful pastime of Lord Kapila teaching to Devahuti. Okay, so let's continue. We are in chapter 6. We'll read from here. When a person advances in Bhakti Yoga, he will automatically become detached from material attractions. There are many American and European boys and girls in this Krishna consciousness movement who have been born in countries where they can enjoy a good deal of material affluence. But they consider this material happiness and affluence like garbage in the street. Because they are devotees of Vasudeva, they are no longer attached to these material things. This is the result of Bhakti Yoga, which enables one to be detached from material enjoyment. That detachment is the sign that one is advancing in Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Parashe Bhakti Pareshanubhavo Viraktir Anyatra Cha. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.42. That is the test of advancing in Bhakti. If we are advanced, we are no longer attached to the material enjoyment. It is not that we think ourselves great devotees and then go ahead and enjoy material things. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 5.22, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yonaya evate adyantav antavantah kaunteya na teshu ramate buddha. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. When one sees something superior, he immediately rejects that which is inferior. Actually, we cannot bring all this about by our own endeavor. Therefore, we have to take shelter of Sri Krishna, and he will help. Since our only business is to take shelter of Krishna, Devahuti says, I am taking shelter of you so that you can cut my attachment to this material life. Why should you do this? Because I am your eternal servant. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Anadi karma phale pari bhavarna vale jale tari bare na dekhi upaya. If we are thrown into the ocean, there is a great struggle, even if we may be very great swimmers. There is no peace in this material world. However expert we may be in dealing with it, there is nothing but struggle. We cannot live here peacefully. It is not possible. Even if we are non-violent and hurt no one, there will be trouble. However, if somehow or other we manage to reach the shore, we will find peace. There is peace even if we are an inch out of the water. Tava pada pankajasthita dhuli sadrisham vichintaya. Sikshashtaka number 5. If somehow or other we become one of the particles of dust at Krishna's lotus feet, we will be liberated. We may be a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian for 50 or 60 years, or at the utmost 100. But again, we have to take birth and be something else. We are thinking in terms of these religious designations, which are called asad dharma, meaning that they may change at any moment. But what is our real dharma? Real dharma is sad dharma, that which will not change. And this sad dharma necessitates surrendering unto Krishna. This dharma will continue eternally. There are many propounders of sad dharma, but actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the best propounder because he knows the reality. It is therefore said of the Goswamis, Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipunau Saddharma Samsthapakau. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's direct disciples, the Goswamis, tried to establish Saddharma, and we are trying to follow in their footsteps by establishing real dharma throughout the world with this Krishna consciousness movement. Hare Krishna. Okay, let's continue chapter 7. Lord Kapila begins to explain self-realization. Text 12. Maitreya Uvacha Iti Samatur Nirvadyam Ipsitam Nishamya Pumsam Apavargavardhanam Dhiyabhinandyatmavatam Satam Gatir Babhasha Ishat Smitashobhitananaha. After hearing of his mother's uncontaminated desire for transcendental realization, the Lord thanked her within himself for her questions, and thus, his face smiling, he explained the path of the transcendentalists who are interested in self-realization. Devahuti has surrendered her confession of material entanglement and her desire to gain release. Her questions to Lord Kapila are very interesting for persons who are actually trying to get liberation from material entanglement and attain perfection. Unless one is interested in understanding his spiritual life or his constitutional position, and unless he also feels inconvenience in material existence, his human form of life is spoiled. Only a foolish man does not care for the transcendental necessities of life and simply engages like an animal in eating, sleeping, defending and mating. Lord Kapila was very much satisfied by his mother's questions because the answers stimulate one's desire for liberation from the conditioned life of material existence. Such questions are called Apavarga Vardhanam. Those who are actually spiritually interested are called Sat or devotees. Satam Prasangat. Sat means that which eternally exists and Asat means that which is not eternal. Unless one is situated on the spiritual platform, he is not Sat. He is Asat. The Asat stands on a platform which will not exist. But anyone who stands on the spiritual platform will exist eternally. As spirit soul, everyone exists eternally. But the Asat has accepted the material world as his shelter, and therefore he is full of anxiety. Asad Grahan, the desire to enjoy matter, is the cause of the soul's being Asat. Actually, the spirit soul is not Asat. As soon as one is conscious of this fact and takes to Krishna consciousness, he becomes Sat. Satam Gatihi. The path of the eternal is very interesting to persons who are after liberation, and his lordship Kapila began to speak about the path. Those who are Sat are thus transcendentalists, advanced in spiritual life, and when they hear questions from those who want to understand spiritual life, they become very happy. Transcendentalists are not interested in worldly talks. Indeed, worldly talks are very disgusting to them, and they avoid the company of those who talk about nonsensical worldly affairs. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised his disciples, Gramya Katha na Shunibe. The word Gramya refers to that pertaining to one's village, society, or neighborhood. People are interested in talking about Gramya Katha. Newspapers, for instance, are filled with Gramya Katha. There is no spiritual understanding in them. In the United States, there are many newspapers, and simply to publish the New York Times, many trees have to be killed. Now there is paper scarcity. Why are they uselessly killing trees just for Gramya Katha? They are only interested in making a profit. There is, however, another kind of Katha, Krishna Katha. There are literatures which may be nicely presented from the literary point of view, but if there is no glorification of the Supreme Lord, they are useless. Nayat vachaschitrapadam hareryasho jagat pavitram pragranita karhichit tadvasayam tithamushanti manasa nayatra hamsa niramant ushikshaya. Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a pilgrimage for crows. Since the all-perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.10. Worldly literatures are like places where crows take pleasure. In the bird society there are crows and swans, and crows are interested in places where filthy things are thrown. However, swans prefer nice clear water with lotus flowers, and it is in such places that they take their pleasure. Similarly, there are men who are like crows and men who are like swans. That is a natural division. According to an old English proverb, birds of a feather flock together. Crows mix with crows and swans mix with swans. Since devotees are like swans, Hamsas, a most advanced devotee is called a Paramahamsa. The Paramahamsas are not interested in subjects fit for crows. A person who is interested in inquiring about transcendental subjects, Krishna Katha, makes a Paramhamsa very glad. Therefore, Kapila Deva was very glad to hear that his mother was eager to receive information on how to be elevated, on how to be delivered from material bondage. Arthame deva sammoham apakrishtum tvam arhasi yo vyagraho mametiti etasmin yojitastvaya. Now be pleased, my Lord, to dispel my great delusion. Due to my feeling of false ego, I have been engaged by your Maya and have identified myself with the body and consequent bodily relations. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.10. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised his disciples never to eat palatable food, never to talk about village topics, and never to read ordinary novels, poems, and newspapers. One may ask, how is it that in the modern age these Europeans and Americans of the Krishna consciousness movement do not take interest in newspapers? Newspapers are very popular in the West. Each day the papers are published in 3 or 4 editions, and they are all selling. However, these American boys and girls who have come to Krishna consciousness have stopped reading newspapers. They do not know what is happening from day to day, and it does not matter. All of this is a waste of time. It is better that they read literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Why waste one's valuable time? Kapil Dev was very glad that his mother was interested only in spiritual advancement. This material world is called Pavarga, and to nullify it is called Apavarga. In this material world, people are laboring very hard simply to earn some money. This creates a hellish situation, and this is the way of material life. People have become so dull that they do not understand the meaning of liberation. They have become just like animals. If an animal is informed that there is such a thing as liberation, how will he understand it? It is not possible. Similarly, at the present moment, human beings have become exactly like animals. They do not know the meaning of Apavarga, liberation. Yet, there was a time when people understood that human life was meant for Apavarga. The questions are raised by Devahuti and the answers are given by Kapildev. That is Apavarga Vardhanam. As far as material maintenance is concerned, the Shastras never stress it. Rather, they say that one's maintenance will come automatically. God gives food to animals, birds, aquatics. Why should He not give it to one who is interested in Apavarga? Unfortunately, people have no faith, and therefore, good association is required. People should not waste their time associating with crows. They should associate with swans. When garbage is thrown out, crows and dogs come to see what is there, but no sane man will go. Those who are interested in trying to get pleasure out of this material world are actually chewing the chewed. Punha punash charvita charvananam. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.30. If one picks up a piece of sugar cane which has already been chewed, he is a fool. You must know that the juice has already been taken out of that sugar cane. What will one get by chewing it? However, there are animals who are simply interested in chewing the chewed. Material life means chewing the chewed. A father educates his son to earn a livelihood, get married, and settle down. But he himself already knows that by doing this, he has not become satisfied. Why then is he engaging his son in the same business? A real father is one who does not allow his son to chew the chewed. Pita na sa syat janani na sa syat. Na mochayed yah samupeta mrityam. One should not become a father or a mother unless one is able to save his children from the impending clutches of death. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.18. That is the duty of the father and mother. How can this be done? A father and mother should educate their son in Krishna consciousness. Then he can be saved. They should educate the son in such a way that there is no pavarga. If we do not go forward to liberation, we promote a civilization of cats and dogs. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, fearing, and dying are all experienced by cats and dogs. But human life is meant for another purpose. Of course, we have to maintain the body. It is not that we should neglect it, but we should not unnecessarily engage in the maintenance of the body. Yes, yasyatma buddhi kunapetri dhatuke swadhi kalatra dishubhauma ijyadhi yattita buddhi salilena karhichij janesh abhigneshu sa eva gokharaha. A human being who identifies this body made of three elements as the self, who considers the byproducts of this body to be his kinsman, who considers the land of his birth as worshipable, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to take a bath rather than meet men of transcendental knowledge, there is to be considered like a cow or an ass. From the Vedas, we can receive education of all kinds. On a mango tree, there are ripened mangoes and green mangoes. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened mango of the desired tree of Vedic knowledge. Nigamakalpataror galitam phalam. If the mango is tasted by the parrot, it becomes doubly tasty. The word Shuka means parrot, and Shukadeva Goswami spoke Srimad Bhagavatam. It is therefore more relishable from his lips. Nigamakalpataror galitam phalam Shukamukadamrita drava samyutam Pibata Bhagavatam rasamalayam Muhur aho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. O expert and thoughtful men, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desired tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Shukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.3. It is regrettable that in India, where these literatures are available, people are not interested. They are interested in Marxist literature but not Srimad Bhagavatam, and this is India's misfortune. Okay, let's pause here. Yes, so again, very nice instructions by Srila Kapil Dev and Srila Prabhupada. And I was just so grateful to Srila Prabhupada for what he has done. I mean, this whole movement that he started single-handedly at the age of almost 70, coming to the West. Yesterday, we came back to Cincinnati last night. We visited, after New Vrindavan, we went to Balaji Temple, and then further around, it's a spring break for the kids, so we drove further to Pennsylvania and to the Hershey's chocolate factory, and then from there, about an hour drive is Gita Nagari, which is another wonderful farm community of ISKCON, established in the mid-70s, and Srila Prabhupada had visited that place. And I was talking to my wife, and we were discussing about how dedicated, these devotees of Srila Prabhupada, they are like, this is a very, I think it's more than 100 plus acres, 130, 40 acres. And just so much of manual hard work is required in these farm communities. I mean, it's not as developed as New Vrindavan is right now, but still, I think it's very nice. I think there are places there are cottages and places for devotees to stay, and I think many devotees come during spring and summer for the retreats. And there's cow barn, sanctuary, and peacocks, and very similar to New Vrindavan. But the point that as we were reading this reminded me of the dedication and hard work of how, like Prabhupada is saying, the swans gather. People who are in materialistic mode of life are just like for us also. We are thinking, we all want to live a very comfortable life, living in the city, with all comfort and luxuries. But imagining the hard work and dedication of these devotees there in such farm communities, they're like literally slogging every day, and it's very hard. If at least for us looking at it from outside in, it feels hard, but actually I'm sure they are relishing so much that they're able to do so much of seva and service there. And they're cooking prashadam, and yesterday we were able to have prashadam there in Gita Nagari. And we met a few devotees there who seemed so joyful, even though they have to do so much of hard work there, because working in a farm requires a lot of hard work, manual labor. But that is what Prabhupada wanted, to live a simple life and simple living and high thinking. And we could see literally in their activities and in their behavior, and how they were feeling just so blissful and joyful just being there. So that is the samadhi also of Sri Sripad Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, disciple of Srila Prabhupada, African-American body, also known as the Black Lotus. Very empowered, very educated person, disciple, and yet he accomplished so much. And we are reading Prabhupada Lilamrit, we read about him, how he was going to the libraries, he was meeting the professors and distributing the literature, distributing Prabhupada's books in libraries. And so that is that is where he left his body, and His Holiness Sadhana Swami Maharaj was there with him at his passing. So that is this Gita Nagari is a wonderful dham. Srila Prabhupada, like I said, himself has visited it. So it was nice to be in that dham. But this reading, as we were reading, reminded me of that how we are just like my wife was saying, that of course we are in the Grihastha ashram, so we have to balance everything. We have to balance our spiritual life, our material life, but the point that she was making is like, we drove about 6-7 hours from Cincinnati, just to go to this place, this factory, to see some chocolates. And just like Prabhupada was saying about the newspapers, there are so many newspapers being published and so many trees being cut every day, and just going to that factory again shows us how people are just so much engrossed in sense gratification, just eating these chocolates and having a gala time, so-called gala time. But we could make our own wrapper in the factory, so kids had a good time. That's good, but ultimately it's like, how do we connect it back to Krishna, and just be thankful and grateful to Krishna for whatever we have got, these opportunity of the human form of life, as well as whatever we have achieved so far in life is because of the Lord's grace. And we should somehow or other keep Krishna in the center, so that way we can remember the Lord. So while we were driving back, just playing some bhajans, hearing some kirtans, katha, we are doing this activity of remembering the Lord. So yesterday was a nice thing, like Prabhupada was saying today, everything comes from the Lord, right? The energy, the light of the sun that we are remembering this week, we were able to see a very nice Gaura darshan, like amidst the black dark clouds of Ghanashyam. Yesterday it was raining and thundering and pouring while we were coming back, but then there was also bright sunlight. So just remembering the Lord in these moments, the sunlight and the rain, like Prabhupada is saying, everything comes from Krishna. So we should be grateful, and we have to repay the debt. If we don't remember the Lord, if we don't surrender to the Lord, then we are indebtors. We are debtors, indebted to the sun god, the rain god, everybody, the wind and whatnot. Just paying the bills here, we can see, and we get our bills for $200-300 every month. Without fail, we'll get the bills for electricity, for water, right? And we have to pay that. We cannot escape from that. But here we have been getting sunlight and rain and water and air, pure air, for so many years in this lifetime and many lifetimes. And there is nothing, the Lord doesn't charge us anything for that, but just requires us that we surrender unto His lotus feet, just remember Him, and then our lives will be perfect. Even this, like Prabhupada was saying, these are Europeans and Americans have accepted this. Again, we were saying the same thing, like, as Indians, sometimes we feel Indian-bodied, we are, at least I can say for myself, like, I'm very lazy, right? Very lazy to hard work, right? But again, looking at these American-bodied and European-bodied devotees, so much hard work and they're able to do. Even in the class, like I was referring to earlier, there's one is Bhakti Mark Swami Maharaj in the class in Nevandavan. He was saying about, he's, like I said, he's from Canada, but his roots, his ancestors, his parents came from Netherlands. So he was sharing this wonderful story that, how he's also known as, I think it's called I forget it's not the traveling, maybe it's a traveling monk. So he travels a lot, he walks, and he walks across the latitude and longitude of many countries. So that's one thing he does, just like the Lord used to walk through the jungles, and that time there was no other modes of commute, right? So like that he walks. So anyway, so he was saying that he happened to go back to Netherlands recently, and he met his family, his extended family members, his cousins and everybody. And when they were, so as he walked through Netherlands, and then they had arranged like a grand reunion for him, his extended family members. So everybody was very astonished, and he said it was very nicely covered by the newspaper. He said 4 or 5 different newspapers covered his journey in Netherlands. He says a Canadian monk whose roots are from Netherlands walks through his country or reunion with his family or something like that. So anyway, so he said, so then the newspapers reporters were all there, and his extended family was there, and then they were all asking, so you don't feel like you've left this place, you have left, you're practicing something which none of your other family members are practicing, you've left Jesus Christ. He says, no, I've not left Jesus Christ. Jesus has always been with me. I've only added Krishna into my life, but Jesus is always there. So they were all astonished. And I said, wow, can we do like that? He says, yes, why not? So that means that yes, you can have Jesus in your life, but you just have to add Krishna into your life. So anyway, and ultimately, they were all very happy and pleased with him. And but yeah, it was nicely covered. So again, the point that what Prabhupada was making this morning, and yeah, like I said, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj was also referring to the same instructions of Lord Kapiladev to Devahuti, of how our senses are pulling us down into this material world of samsara, and how Devahuti is requesting Kapila Muni, his son, to cut the attachment of material attachment with the axe of Vairagya, Vidya, with detachment, with the knowledge of the Supreme. So by engaging our senses, practically we can all engage our senses of seeing, of hearing, of smelling, of tasting, by eating only Krishna Prasadam, by doing some level of service through our hands and feet, by going to the temples, by serving, either washing something or cooking or cleaning or whatever, decorating. We can use our senses in the service of the Lord. But yes, the first thing, everything starts with Shravanam and Kirtanam. So first thing is engaging our ears and engaging our mouth. Those are the foundational elements of bhakti. So if we can do those nicely, then everything else will start happening automatically. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. That's all I wanted to share for today. Any other comments, reflections? Meena Mataji, belated happy birthday once again, and hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Krishna conscious year and journey of life ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
my
Hare
sources.
Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much. It's just been, feels like Anandani Mataji opened the floodgates of love and uh, mercy from all the devotees that I have received so many messages and calls, and the bestest birthday ever. I don't know how I got so much mercy from all of you. Thank you so much for all the wonderful messages. Just feel very blessed. And just 'cause something I heard yesterday, I wanted to share. I
Mm,
was listening to Amrinder Prabhu's class on Ramayana. I'm a big fan of Ramayana.
mm,
And one of the key points that we talk about Shravanam and Kirtanam. Kirtanam does not always just means doing Kirtan. It's always how we speak to others or how we talk or we do book distribution. That's also Kirtan. Seva is also Kirtan.
mm,
So one of the key points that he shared of Rama was, Rama could have done any of those pastimes because Rama and Krishna are non-different. He could have done all that, but he tried to show the human side uh, of Bhagwan. He came as doing all the human emotions, weeping for the loss of his wife when she was abducted, or showing the a son's duties towards parents and everything. He does all that. So, but one of the main qualities that Rama showed all throughout was the way he spoke. So, there were 3 points that Amrendra Prabhu said that Rama was Mridu Bhashi. He was very soft spoken. And Rama was also Madhur Bhashi, that he not only spoke sweet words, but also with the sweet intentions. He never treated ill to anyone. When Ravana uh, came to fight him on day one, Ram told him to go back and come back more prepared the next day. He was that kind of person. And then he was Purvabhashi. Purvabhashi is the one quality I think we should all imbibe is Purvabhashi is that we have a conflict with someone when we are like if somebody's coming and we don't like that person, we're like, oof, फिर सामने आ गया या फिर आ गई है, whatever it is. Purvabhashi means that somebody who initiates the conversation to remove all the melon in your heart or to remove um, the what uncomfortableness of any relationship. So he was also a Purvabhashi. So I think that is the one quality we should imbibe. And he always spoke very few words. He was a eloquent speaker more in the sense that relate a lot more in few words. So something that really stayed with me from yesterday's lecture of Amrinda Prabhu. So I just wanted to share that since it's about Rama's week. So thought we should start like this. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Jai Haribol. Thank you for sharing. Yes, very wonderful week. And yeah, Lord Ramchandra is Maryada Purushottam, right? And Krishna is Leela Purushottam. But yes, as Prabhupada is saying today, Gramya Katha, Mahaprabhu says, Gramya Katha na kahibe na shunibe. So we should not talk any Gramya Katha, talk of this, of sense gratification or material madness, but instead engage in Kirtanam, as you just said, Shravanam and Kirtanam. So by reading the literatures, reading our scriptures, and associating with sadhus through their vani, through their instruction, yes, that should be the mood. And yes, let's all meditate on these wonderful qualities of Lord Ramachandra as we go through this week, and not just go through this week, but grow through this week. Thank you so much for sharing once again. And Hari Bol. Anybody else would like to say anything? See some comments. Thank you, Arti Mataji, for wishing Meenu Mataji. Yes, now I'll always remember Meenu Mataji's birthday because it happens to be on the anniversary of our starting this Japa call 2 years ago. So, Hare Krishna. Alright, thank you so much, dear devotees. We'll conclude here for today with Vaishnava Pranam prayers. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Jai Guru
Jai,
Shri Prabhupada ki jai,
jai, jai,
teachings of Lord Kapila Dev ki jai,
jai,
Nitai
jai.
Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Have a great day, everyone. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.